Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's one for you Wolves fans and just general people who love number 9s in the Premier League. Today we're going to be discussing Jørgen Strand Larsen and his breakout season for Wolverhampton Wanderers. So let's get straight into this one. As you can see, Jørgen Strand Larsen has scored 12 goals, but obviously at the time of recording, I'm now recording this during the Leicester vs Wolves game, which means he's taken his tally to 13 in the Premier League for the season, which is just absolutely phenomenal. 3 assists also in all competitions as well. Now, having 13 goals in his first season means that he matches Raul Jimenez's tally in his first season, in the 18-19 season for Wolves, where he also scored 13. Obviously, Strand Larsen has also got a few games to go, so you never know, he could break it, and I personally think he will, and what an achievement that would be. Now, when people think of that Wolves side in 2018-19, we have that nostalgia with that side, that affiliation of it being free-flowing attacking football, Raul Jimenez being on fire, sort of spearheading that attack. And I think because of the way in which the whole Wolves side have performed this season, Jørgen Strand Larsen has sort of gone under the radar for how well he has performed. And 13 goals in this side is no mean feat, especially when you look at a lot of his goals. Also, a lot of them have been assisted by Matheus Cunha, but a lot of them also haven't, and he creates his own chances for himself. And I think one thing that I do love about Jørgen Strand Larsen is he does miss chances, and he gets a lot of criticism for that in the ground. You feel it when you're at the Molineux sometimes. However, the thing that I find most impressive, and perhaps you don't see on a stat sheet, is the fact that he's so mentally resilient and mentally strong. Now, you've got strikers, for example, let's just say Darwin Núñez at Liverpool, who is, when he's on fire, he's really, really promising, but the issue with him is if he misses that chance early on in the game, or he comes on, misses a chance, he sort of dwells on it and it stays up here. And I think that's one thing that Jørgen Strand Larsen doesn't have at all. You can see he's rallying himself, rallying his teammates, getting the fans up constantly as well. If he misses a chance, because he knows he's going to get another one. And funnily enough, after this, sort of while I'm recording this, before he scored his goal against Leicester, which Matheus Cunha assisted, you actually see him miss a really easy chance, and he just mocks it in his celebration, just takes the mick out of himself, has that sort of step back and just looks at it and goes, you know what, I've missed a chance, but I've also scored one, and that's all that matters. And I love that about Jørgen Strand Larsen. It's something that, like I say, doesn't show up on a stat sheet, but it's something that is invaluable and something that I really love about him specifically. Now, if we just scroll down, you'll see here as well. Now, at the start of the season, he started really well, but the side were really underperforming. I mean, 6-2 against Chelsea. I mean, Cunha scored in that game. He scored in that game. Probably the two standouts for Wolves this season, definitely from an attacking standpoint. But I think, obviously, if you look at the whole squad, for me, you've got João Gomez has been phenomenal all season. Andre's been absolutely exemplary, especially since Vitor Pereira came in. And Aït-Nouri's also had a really good second half of the season as well. I think defensively he was very, very suspect, especially in that 6-2 loss to Chelsea at the start of the season. But I do think that it was sort of a rough patch for him under O'Neill. He started relatively well, and then sort of as the team started really, really fading, he tended to fade with them. And then when Vitor Pereira come in, he had that injury, the hamstring injury, as you can see here, missing the Villa and the Liverpool game. But since then, he's been absolutely on fire. As you can see, 2 goals against Southampton, won him the game by himself in what was a 6-pointer, really. That was as big of a result as you can see. And again, the Ipswich game, he comes on. Now, it doesn't show an assist here for Sarabia's goal, but what he does for Sarabia's goal is absolutely brilliant. And just because Sarabia gets a shot that gets blocked, ultimately, it doesn't count as an assist, but that is something that, again, doesn't show up on a stat sheet, but his overall impact and holding up the ball is really, really impressive. And as you can see now, I mean, 2 goals against Southampton, 1 against West Ham, Ipswich and Tottenham, and obviously he scored again today, which takes him to 6 goals in his last 7 games, which is just absolutely incredible. 6 goals in his last 6 games, which is just even better. And I just think it's so interesting to see Jørgen Strand Larsen flourish in this side, yet also hasn't got the credit that Raul Jimenez got in his first season. So let me know what you think about that, Wolves fans. I think it's quite an interesting one, because I think maybe his performances aren't as dazzling, and I don't think perhaps he offers maybe as much on the eye as Raul Jimenez, but I think with regards to sticking the ball in the back of the net and having that aptitude and that quality, and also showing that he really cares about the club and how much he sort of applies himself in games, I think it's been absolutely invaluable for Wolves this season in them staying up. Now, where do I think Jørgen Strand Larsen can improve next season is missing those big chances. Now, as you can see here, 13 big chances missed. And that seems like a lot, and it is, trust me. I can get that it's frustrating. I completely understand. Your team's in a relegation scrap for probably 75%, 80% of the season. And you've got this striker that you've signed for relatively big money. Obviously, he was an option to buy or an obligation to buy, and they've ended up buying him. But And I understand that it is frustrating when you're under the cosh and you need that goal to get you out of trouble. But ultimately, these chances that he's missing, it's not like he's, completely blazing them over the bar or putting them miles wide. Often they're hitting the post. I mean, as you can see there, 3 of those 13 big chances have hit the woodwork, which is just, it's relatively decent. And I think the one thing with Strand Larsen as well is he doesn't get too many shots in a game. 53 shots in a whole season is, not as high as you'd expect. But again, the fact that he scored 13 goals from those 53 shots is even more impressive in my opinion. And I like about Strand Larsen as well that he's got such a variety of goals. Now, obviously, as you can see here as well, he's only scored 2 headers. And as a big man, that's often the criticism that you feel when you're in and around the ground from a lot of Wolves dars, as people like to say. I know Dave and a few people like that one. But a lot of sort of older fans generally think that, as a 6'4" target man, you have to score headers just because that's how it was a few years ago. But football's, massively evolved and big strikers aren't always about getting in the box, getting their heads on things. Now, it's great when they do, but that's dependent on the team system. And Vitor Pereira's sides aren't necessarily sides that are swinging balls into the box. I mean, you think back to his Porto sides, they had creative players, tricky wingers, technical players. They weren't swinging balls necessarily into the box all day, every day. And that's something that this side haven't done either. I mean, Bellegarde's been playing off the right a lot, and you don't see him swinging balls into the box. You often see him getting himself into the box. So I think that's also another thing that, a lot of Wolves fans have got to remember. I also think with regards to sort of the little amount of chances that Wolves have created, 13 goals shouldn't be underestimated. Absolutely not. And then when you look at it here, 33 shots on target out of those 53 just shows that he really isn't a bad striker. You've seen some absolutely unbelievable saves against Strand Larsen as well this season, and he's been very, very unlucky. So I don't think that's something that's necessarily for people to worry about, and I think people have worried about that a bit much this season. And as you can see there as well, 3 goals with his left foot, which is something that not a lot of strikers do these days. You really don't see it. A lot of strikers are reluctant to use their left foot. I know Darwin Núñez, I'll use him as an example again. It's going to seem like I'm hounding him, but he scored a brilliant goal off his left foot this season, but you never see him use it generally. Other than that, you don't see him using his left foot. Erling Haaland, very rarely do you see him using his right foot. It's just the fact that he's got that sort of ability to score with both feet as well is something that I really admire about Strand Larsen. I think could prove to be interesting next season. So I think depending with the way that Wolves are going to play next season, I think Strand Larsen's got a massive role to play. I could see him hitting maybe 15 this season. You never know. 2 goals in the next sort of, however long's left of the Wolves-Leicester game and then the remaining games of the season. And 15 goals would be absolutely ridiculous, really, in this side that's, like I say, has struggled for about 80% of the season. Let me know what you think, Wolves fans, about Jørgen Strand Larsen. I personally love him. I'm becoming a bit of a Jørgen Strand Larsen fan account on sort of social media, on TikTok, that sort of thing. And if you do want to check me out on TikTok, feel free to click the link in the description as well. Make sure to share this video, like it, and also drop a subscribe while you're here, because we're trying to get to 250 subscribers. We're currently on 231 at the time of recording. So let me know what you think about this video. Let me know what you think about Jørgen Strand Larsen, and I'll see you in the next one.